It's Monday, October the 9th. Happy Thanksgiving. It's 2017. It's around 2:15 in the afternoon. I just left Starbucks about half hour or so ago, and I was heading over to the Salvation Army because I was there yesterday or the day before, and I was told specifically, yes, there's Thanksgiving Day dinner at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. 2 o'clock, of course. So just by chance, I was walking out of Starbucks, and this man who befriended me a day or two ago, named Philip, was standing there as a stage, and he said no, it started at 11:30, and it was still going on. So he invited himself to walk along with me. Now Philip, of course, is playing all kinds of games. And one of his games was a game that was played out in Guelph. I can't remember the man's name. He was from Newfoundland. He used to always lower his voice to such a low extent and murmur that I could never hear him. And I kept constantly having to say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, can you repeat that?" So it was just a method of control, which the Illuminati are famous for. They want to control every thought, every emotion, every action. So Philip, I could sense that, this was his game again. They repeat themselves over and over because they've only got one trick. And so Philip, of course, walked me by the food bank here, and we got to the Salvation Army, and of course I walked in, and there were maybe 3 or 4 people sitting at a table, not eating or anything, watching TV. I walked up to the kitchen area. There was a man with a full plate of turkey dinner, squirreling it away. And so, of course, no, the meal wasn't at 2 o'clock. It was at 11:30, and I was late, and therefore there was no turkey dinner for me. But I could come back at 6 o'clock because there was going to be turkey dinner there then, which is total bullshit because I volunteered at the Salvation Army in Toronto 2 Christmas days, and they start their turkey dinner at around, I would say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 1 o'clock, and it runs all day until you're finished with it till about 6 o'clock, and it just continues. It just continues there, and so this one over here to my left, the jackass to my left, standing that we're looking at right now, he's there to distract you so that you can't say what you're saying. So it's just an intimidating force, of course. You just have this jackass just standing there, just to your left the whole time with his Illuminati eye. Don't forget to have a look at that. The Illuminati eye that you can see here. Just have a look. You can see the Illuminati eye, and it's just ever present. It's always there with you. You can never miss that, right? So like we were saying, the turkey dinners that I volunteered for 2 Christmases in Toronto, they start at a certain time, and they run all through the day. So there is no other 6 o'clock one here, of course. Yeah, just so you should get a look at that. There is no 6 o'clock one here. I did go, there might be, but it's at any rate just another game. I did go to, when I lived on Newmarket Avenue, we now know in hindsight, I was made homeless September 22nd, 2014. I stayed at a safe bed for a month, and I got a room in this house with this other guy. He was renting out a room by the living room for $600 a month, and I stayed there for 2 months before they fabricated an event that blew that up. But when I was there, that was when I was expected to live on $56 a month for the month of January and December 2014, January 2015. But I went for a Christmas dinner at the Salvation Army, and they gave you a time. The time I went, the whole hall was empty. There were maybe 7, 8 people, in a whole entire hall. So it was done to make sure that I ate Christmas dinner by myself, and that it was depressing and lonely. And they had just stolen my sister, if you remember, August 25th, 2014. So I had no family member. Did you catch that laughter over there? The nervous reaction? And the Illuminati eye signal right there. So I was there alone. Like a lot of that stuff on Newmarket Avenue didn't make a lot of sense at the time, but I knew something was going on, and now we know for sure. So today we're not going to have Thanksgiving dinner, thanks to the Illuminati. That's what they're like. They're just cunts. And, you know, if you drug someone with a date rape drug and kidnap them, then yeah, you're in shackles, and they try to get away with anything they can. They're absolutely furious with me, though, because unlike the clones that they can completely control all their thoughts, all their emotions, all their actions, they haven't succeeded with me. You can drug me with the date rape drug, and you can kidnap me, and you can make me homeless, and you can starve me to death, but I will not subjugate myself to you in any way. Especially with Jesus beside me, I do not subjugate myself to any human, much less a clone, much less the scumbag Illuminati. This is coming to an end, I know for sure. Last night I slept in the TD Bank machine vestibule here. That's because the Illuminati arrived, and the Bee's Knees Beecappers hostel that I stayed at, backpacking hostel for 2 nights for $35 a night. I was told half an hour before church service started on yesterday morning, that no, everything was booked, and get your sheets off the bed and put them in this basket. And it was all done so that I was panicked and wouldn't have a place to stay, which I didn't, and would be late for Mass. Fortunately, though, I had packed everything up and gotten everything ready on the Saturday and was ready to leave at a moment's notice. You have to do that when you're living like this, because this bullshit just continues on and on and on. So last night we had nowhere to sleep. It is cold. It's the Yukon. We don't have anywhere to sleep for the next couple of weeks. We have no money for food. Philip, of course, walked me by the food bank to make me remind myself what a scumbag I am and how I have no money because they stole $200 to take a bus ride for 10 hours. So they just dictate the prices of hotels and food and buses to make sure that every single month, in the middle of the month, you have absolutely no money for anything. So this month, we won't be spending any more money on food at all. I won't be going to the Salvation Army or a food bank. I won't be spending any money on a hotel or accommodation. I will keep my money for what I like, which is a coffee every once in a while during the day and a package of cigarettes. Other than that, we'll just be freezing outside. We won't have anything to eat, and there they go. Did you notice? That was the Haunted Barrel Works, by the way, that squeak. Like the Haunted Barrel Works out in Center Island, the the haunted house. They like to make noises all through the day with doors, with cars, with tires, with windows, with everything, just to keep needling you every minute of the day that they are there and they control every thought, every emotion, every action. This all has to be recorded, so it's about like I said, 2:15, probably close to 2:30 now. I did have 2 pieces of chicken that I bought at a superstore that was half price. So that's what our meal is for today. There's no more money for anything. And like I said, I refuse to go through this bullshit any longer. I refuse to live, to stay at the Salvation Army. This one is foul here. It's just the most foul of any Salvation Army I've been in. It is filthy. It is dirty. The people are hostile and almost violent. So this is out of the question. The RCMP have done a great job of making sure that I was not welcome and that my stay here was as difficult as possible. It's challenging the rest of the month. I mean, it's who knows what can happen at this point. I've got a cold that's already developing, a chest cold. I have nowhere to sleep and no food, and so things could just progress in any direction at any time. It's Thanksgiving. I, of course, am not with my sister because no help was arriving, which is unfortunate. It never does. The one thing I've learned with Canada is have no expectations. Have absolutely, well, actually, have one expectation, and that is that never will Canada come through for you. Never. It will never be there for you. It will never catch you when you fall. You're completely on your own. So it's at Thanksgiving Day. The winter is fast approaching in the Yukon. Anything can happen, and I refuse to be treated like shit. And I guess I could be arrested again. I'm sure the RCMP would like to try that trick again. They did that in Dawson Creek when I was escaping from the concentration camp and trying to jump over barbed wire fences that were hidden and electrified fences. After several hours of walking through that, they then arrested me. They appeared magically at the top of the hill and arrested me and imprisoned me for 24 hours for public mischief. Yeah, it's bullshit. It's just non-stop bullshit, and Canada isn't doing a goddamn fucking thing to help me. So I'm trapped. I'm trapped being cold and sleeping on concrete outside again and not having anything to eat. So with the cold that's already approaching, we'll just try to fight through it. I do have money for a coffee, and that's really important. I went to Starbucks again this morning, got some work done, put out a great post, and uploaded some videos. So I do have that luxury during my day. Some days I went in yesterday and it was full of Illuminati and clones, and the environment was just so hostile I had to leave. But unfortunately, the RCMP here are doing not a goddamn fucking thing to police the place, so I'm completely at risk. I kind of look like I come from the Yukon with my clothes on now, and I haven't shaven. But it's unfortunate. This place looks like it could be a nice place, but it isn't now. It's a hellhole. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll spend the rest of the day, I guess, going for another coffee and trying to struggle through it. The people who come up to me to talk to me here are not my friends. They're clearly here to use me and take money from me and abuse me and walk me by shelters and scumbag places and food banks just to emphasize how low I've descended and what a scumbag I am. Kind of ironic considering that Jesus is with me and not with them, but they're trying to needle around at God any way they can. They're just pests, and they actually sometimes, they know that the end is coming, but they actually sometimes have deluded themselves to thinking that they have more power than God. So this will be interesting how it plays out. This is a long video, but I had a lot to say. No Thanksgiving dinner, no sister, lonely and homeless and sleeping outside on the street again. This is my Canadian Thanksgiving of 2017. It would be nice if someone in the goddamn Canadian government got off their ass and did something for me for a change. It would be nice if the Canadian Army did something for me for a change. It would be nice if anyone in Canada did something for me for a change. It's not sour grapes. I've gone through this for 4 years. I've done a lot for this country. I've sacrificed tremendously, and it has slapped me in the face and kicked me in the ass in return. Things will get better one day. Happy Thanksgiving. I say that to the average Canadian, who I still love and respect. I don't respect the leadership in this country in any way across the board in any fashion, and I don't respect Canada very much anymore either. This country has fallen tremendously, and we can thank God that it hasn't blown up completely, but it's come close. Let's look forward to better days. Kelly, I love you. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope to be together with you sometime. Have a good day.